Alright, we should be live. So, recently Wizards did an update to the Arena client, and one of the things that they changed was that the matchmaking for Brawl, they're trying to find a better way to do it than they have been doing. So, there's no actual data that I know of, because it just came out, on how it determines the matchmaking, but I can tell you that in the past day since it's gone live, the quality of opponents' decks that I have been playing against with this particular build has dropped off dramatically from what it was in the past couple weeks. So, we're going to go over the deck because I've made some changes to it since the last time I did a deck tech on Sami. And then we're going to play some more matches and see if that keeps bearing out. So, this is Sami, Wildcat Captain. If you haven't seen them before, they're 6 mana, red-white, 4/4, human artificer rogue with double strike and vigilance. Almost none of that matters other than the casting cost, setting the colors, and how much mana we need to get Sami into play. Once they are in play, all of our spells have affinity for artifacts. And this is what I think is breaking the Matchmaker, because the cards I'm using to combo with Sami are individually terrible. Like, the overall power level, I can't imagine, like, let's say they were using a scoring system, and they assigned a point value to each card in your deck. Most of Sami's cards would have to be 1s, or 0s even, because of how they work. So we'll go over all of the cards, and I'll show you how Sami actually works and how they win. So, over here in the cheap seats, we have Mox Opal, because we will definitely have Metalcraft 99.9% of the time, and we need all of the ramp and fixing we can get. Esper Sentinel probably could be a different card. If there was another cheap artifact I could replace Esper Sentinel with, I probably should do that, because it almost never does anything, if I'm being completely honest. So I'm looking for the next, like, Omni Cheese Pizza or something. Path to Exile, because you need cheap interaction in theory. A lot of the decks I've been playing against, I didn't. But in theory, you need cheap interaction for those handful of problematic cards. Same with Swords, Galvanic Blast, Lightning Bolt, and Shove Aside. So that's, I think, almost the totality of our removal suite until you want to use, if you want to use like one of the other Doomsday weapons over here to kill stuff instead of winning the game. Because sometimes you do need to kill stuff to win the game. You can do that. This is one of the very few alchemy cards in the deck, and this is probably the only card that I'm sad doesn't exist in paper. Like, if it was just counters on it and you could sack it to draw X cards, I would love this card in paper for Sami. So, whenever another artifact you control enters the battlefield, it increases in intensity. Its starting intensity is 0, and you can sacrifice it to draw X cards where X is half of its intensity, rounded down at sorcery speed. So, if this thing comes down before a lot of your other artifacts, it will draw you. I've had it to the point where I couldn't actually activate it because it would deck me. Just because I kept hitting all of the other card draw first, and I wanted to play all of those, and also with the way the Arena client works, sometimes it is super helpful to not have to find one of your artifacts in the pile on the table. Lantern of the Lost. There were a lot of powerful artifact decks running around for a while. Things like the Stick Fingers combo, which would try to get Arden into play, and then because there are only 2 creatures, it would basically cast Stick Fingers, X equals 2, put Arden and the 3rd Ulamog into their graveyard, cast Arden, exile the Ulamog to make a demon copy of Ulamog with haste. Since the Ulamog is in exile, the Annihilator is like minimum 10, I think, was his casting cost. So, having ways to deal with the graveyard-centric decks has been pretty important over Sami's career. So we have both Lantern and Relic. Also, and Soul Guide. Also of note, all three of these artifacts can be sacrificed to draw a card. They do require mana, which is a bit frustrating. If there was an artifact that came into play, exiled a card, and caused 0 mana to cycle, I would gladly replace any one of these with that. Astral Cornucopia. So, one of the biggest problems with Sami is actually getting colored mana once they get going. So, Astral Cornucopia is one of the artifacts that can both ramp early on as just a 3-mana mana rock, but also, once Sami is comboing off, it can generate large amounts of colored mana to help cast the handful of spells that need that. Then, here, just real quick, I'll go over like one or two of the things that aren't part of this very simple but very ridiculous combo. So we have Reckless Fireweaver as one of the actual kill conditions, because sometimes I will just time out by doing all of the things that this deck is capable of, and I won't actually win the game. Reckless Fireweaver is super helpful for actually winning the game once the combo gets started. We have a bunch of artifact mana in here, like Boros Signet, Talisman, Arcane Signet. Alright, let's get into what Sami actually does. So Sami gives everything you cast affinity for artifacts. This includes all of your artifacts. So, if, for example, I have 2 artifacts in play and I cast Scrapwork Mutt, it costs 0, comes into play, and I can discard a card to draw a card. This is the worst of the card draw on the list, but it is more card draw, and that's all Sami really wants. We have Elsewhere Flask. Most of these, the rest of the text box does not matter. There are a couple of them that actually do. It's a 2-mana artifact that draws a card when it enters. Energy Refractor is one of the ones that can matter, being able to filter colorless mana into mana to cast the handful of spells that actually require colored mana in the middle of the combo in order to make it more consistent and more or less guarantee that it's going to kill our opponents. So cards like the Energy Refractor are among the better cantripping artifacts. Cantrip referring to a spell that has the added text of drawing a card in addition to all of the other things it does. Eye of Vecna is one of the worst unless I can afford to spend the mana on my own turn to draw additional cards, but it still is a 2-mana artifact that draws me a card when it enters, and the 2 life shouldn't matter 99.9% of the time. Golden Egg is another one that can filter mana after it's already in play. I have never sacrificed it for life. Guidelight Matrix. I have 0 mounts, 0 vehicles. It is a 2-mana artifact that draws a card. Guild Globe can filter. Ichor Wellspring is one of the better ones because I do have like 2 or 3 ways to sacrifice an artifact to try and get more value. I'm looking at Memorial Vault over there. And so this one can provide additional value with its card draw when it dies, when that comes up. Instant Ramen draws me a card. Lembas Spread scries one, then draws me a card. Also among the better ones. Mind Stone is a ramp spell. Omni Cheese draws me a card and can filter mana. Prophetic Prism draws me a card and can filter mana. Puka's Eye can draw me a card, and I don't think I can possibly activate it without... I forget if it becomes multicolored. No, it becomes the chosen color. Okay, so multiple things. This is one of the newer additions. Multiple things that let me re-trigger the ETBs won't help with this because it will overwrite the color. It's not in addition to its other colors. So it can never be more than 1 color. So I can never draw the other card off of it. But that's okay. I usually won't have the mana anyway. Most of my mana will be tied up in other things. Draws me a card, don't care what the rest of the text is. Draws me a card. If it comes down early enough, I might be able to sacrifice it on one of my turns where I'm trying to combo off in order to draw a new card. But usually, since it comes into play tap, that doesn't happen. The Irencrag is my least favorite mana rock in the entire deck because legendary spells cause it to trigger. So it is entirely possible for Sami, under the right circumstances, to operate at instant speed. So putting a trigger on the stack that the opponents can respond to before I can start doing stuff actually is incredibly frustrating. I need very specific cards in order to still operate completely at instant speed with the Irencrag trigger on the stack. Like, normally Sami resolves and you'll get priority, and you can cast, like, one of your sorcery speed artifacts for the reduced cost immediately. So even if Sami dies, you can get, like, the Endstone down, or with enough artifacts in play, cast one of the Eldrazi Titans or Ugin. But with the Irencrag trigger on the stack, you don't get to do that, and that's very frustrating. I'm actually very, very vocally angry at the Irencrag a lot of the time when I'm playing, when I'm not streaming. Another one of the most important cards in the deck. So, Burgi, I used to play Burgi for the front side because I'm casting spells and I'm getting colored mana, and that can help for casting things like Reckless Fireweaver and other stuff. But Harnfell is actually extremely more powerful, and I'm mad that it took me so long to figure out that I should always be casting Harnfell, not just some of the time and then most of the time. It's all of the time you want to cast Harnfell. Because you will draw a bunch of extra lands while trying to combo off, and getting to discard those lands to get access to more spells is all Sami really wants to do. Weftstalker Ardent is another Reckless Fireweaver. Coalition Relic is a mana rock to help us ramp into Sami, and once I have 3 artifacts in play with Sami, it's free, so it can add colored mana. Glaring Fleshraker, we do have a handful of colorless lands, and we have a bunch of colorless artifacts to help cast it, and when we cast a colorless spell, it makes an 0/1, so in the early part of the game, this can help ramp me into Sami. In the later part of the game, whenever a colorless creature enters, this thing deals 1 damage to each opponent. So casting all of these artifact spells will cause it to make a bunch of 0/1s, which will cause it to ping the opponent, allowing it to function as another Weftstalker in most cases. Introduction to Prophecy is a colorless sorcery. So for 3 mana, it scries 2, then draws a card. Not only is it worse because it costs mana, or not cost mana, because it costs 3 mana as opposed to 2 on a lot of the other ones. It's also worse because I have several cards that care when an artifact enters and will double up on the triggers for it. But it does scry 2, and sometimes that is just good enough. Also, as I said, I need, like, more 2-drop do-nothing artifacts other than drawing cards. Liberator is one of the cards that lets Sami operate at instant speed, because I can flash in Liberator, and then I can respawn once Liberator's in play by casting all of my other artifacts at their discounted price while the kill spell is targeting Sami. Sculpting Steel is a copy of any other artifact I control. Skyclave Relic. So when Skyclave Relic is cast in the early game, it is almost always going to be for 3 mana to get another mana source. When it's cast in the mid to late game, it's going to be free. So if I have 6 artifacts in play, the kicker cost is also free. Kicker is an additional cost, so it is affected by cost reduction effects. So that means that 3 artifacts will enter instead of just 1. And if I have anything that's doubling up on triggers, that usually means that 5 or 7 artifacts will enter instead, as it doubles the number of token copies of itself it makes each time. So that can get a whole lot of triggers for our cares about artifacts entering. Skyscanner is a 3-drop artifact that draws me a card. Again, don't have enough 2s. Tezzeret. So Tezzeret is almost exclusively 3 mana tutor either Mox Opal, one of the Graveyard Hate cards if the opponent is actually doing something that's relevant, the Drix Interlacer to get that ball rolling, or one of my artifact lands. That is basically all Tezzeret has ever done in any game that I've played him in, and he does it very well, so I'm happy to have him. Worn Power Stone is a colorless ramping source. It does come into play tapped, but colorless mana is not the issue on the turns that I'm comboing off, so the fact that this gets Sami online 2 turns sooner is actually way more important. Memorial Vault lets me sacrifice an artifact to exile the top X cards in my library, where X is 1 plus the mana value of the sacrificed artifact, and I can play those cards this turn. So if I sacrifice a 2-drop artifact, I get 3 more cards to work with. The One Ring is the Alchemy version, sadly, but if I can churn out the one extra colorless mana, it can still let me draw a card the turn it comes into play. Also, not being able to die is sometimes the only difference between whether Sami combos off properly and I win, or Sami, like, sputters out and I wind up losing on the turn I'm trying to combo out. Mystic Forge is obscene. All of the artifacts on top of my deck are now castable, and I can also pay a life once per turn to exile the top card of my library when a land gets stuck there. So, if I chain a bunch of artifacts together, and most of my artifacts draw me cards, it just kind of gets out of hand. And more out of hand if I can flash the artifacts in, so I can hold full control and cast the cantripping artifacts off the top in response to each other, until I run into a land, and then let one of them resolve so I can draw the land out of the way and try and keep doing that to keep chaining. Panharmonicon doubles up on the triggers for my artifacts entering, among other things, but I only really care about the artifacts. Elish Norn, same thing, also shuts off the opponent's stuff. Gandalf doubles up triggers for artifacts entering, and also lets me cast them as though they had flash, so everything I said about Liberator and Panharmonicon and Norn all applies to Gandalf here. Gilded Lotus, again, sometimes colored mana is super important. Also, it costs 5, Sami costs 6, and sometimes I need to cast other spells around Sami, or I don't have quite enough artifacts in play because I've ramped into Sami, so I only have like 1 or 2, and we need to, cast one of the more expensive things to get the ball really rolling. So Gilded Lotus helps with that. Memory Jar is just 5 fresh cards, and wow, is that dumb. Mightstone and Weakstone is almost exclusively draw 2, and then can tap for the 2 colorless that I can then use to activate the mana rock, like the mana filtering rocks over here, in order to get actual colored mana that I can spend on spells that aren't artifacts. So that's super helpful. Every once in a while it kills, like, a creature that's messing with my game plan, but normally it's just drawing me 2 cards. And then we get into the actual payoffs. Well, we got a Coveted Jewel first, which is a Gilded Lotus stapled to a Mind Stone with an extra card. So, Endstone, every time I play a card, I draw a card. So all of these cantripping artifacts now draw 2 cards effectively, 1 for casting them and 1 for them entering. Ugin annihilates the opponent's board and draws me a card. Or adds 3 colorless mana in case I need to cast something that has a casting cost of like 11 plus and I somehow don't have the mana. Bahamut kills something when it comes in and is a 9/9 flyer. Ulamog exiles 2 permanents when he's cast and is a 10/10 indestructible that exiles the top 20 cards of your opponent's deck when he attacks. The other Ulamog is a 10/10 Annihilator 4 indestructible that kills one of your opponent's permanents when you cast it, and stops the odd combo deck that is based on milling you from actually milling you. And Emrakul steals your opponent's turn, and has flying, trample, and protection from instants. Then they get another turn after that, but first you got to steal their turn, so usually that's good enough. And by steal, I mean control them and make them do the worst things possible on their turn. For the lands, we have Ancient Den, which is an artifact land, so it counts for Sami. Great Furnace. Yeah, if you've never played with actual affinity or seen an affinity list before, the artifact lands are pretty useful when all of your stuff has affinity for artifacts. It does mean that I am vulnerable to artifact destruction in ways that you wouldn't think, so that's kind of brutal, and that's where a lot of my losses with this deck come from. The other ones come from Sami getting killed before I can do anything cool with them. Fortunately, this land... Oh, wait, that's not the indestructible one. Where's the bridge? I thought that said bridge, but that's Forge. This is a colorless source that also can provide white and red, so it helps cast the Glaring Fleshraker. Clifftop Retreat is a white-red. There's a lot of white-red lands. Elegant Parlor is always good to go grab. Fury Calm Snarl. Inspiring Vantage. Needle Verge. There it is, Rustvale Bridge. So this is the indestructible red-white artifact land. So that's super helpful. Sacred Foundry, Sunbill Verge, Sundown Passage, and Temple of Triumph. Then I have a bunch of fetch lands, which can go get our Parlor, and then our Sacred Mesa, almost always in that order, and then a basic land after that. Cavern of Souls to make Sami uncounterable, so that we can get them through whatever blue decks we're playing against. Command Tower, because it's a white-red dual land that always comes into play untapped. Darksteel Citadel is an indestructible artifact land. More fetches. So Inventor's Fair, if we can find the 4 mana after casting Sami, we'll tutor up any artifact in our deck. Normally that is Mystic Forge or the Endstone, because those are the 2 that allow me to keep comboing. But any one of our powerful artifacts that would let me keep going are also good. Library of Alexandria, because it draws me cards if it shows up in the early game. If it shows up in the late game, a colorless land is not that bad for Sami. Marsh Flats is a fetch land. So I have Mirrex on here, and it basically does nothing. I can probably take it out for another land if I could find something. Like, it really is completely unnecessary. The number of times where I can spend time and 3 mana, functionally 4 because I have to tap the land also, to make a 1/1 artifact creature token is next to none. But it is technically something I could do, and at the time that I was first building the deck, I wasn't sure how often I was going to successfully combo kill and how much time it was going to take, so having a steady stream of 1/1s that are also reducing the casting cost on spells seemed like a good idea. Power Depot is an artifact land. The rest of its text is basically negligible. It comes into play tapped is a little frustrating, but... same with Rising Chicane. It does come into play untapped if I wasn't the starting player, though, so that's helpful. More fetches. Scene of the Crime is an artifact land. It's also a clue, so if I actually manage to fizzle out while trying to combo, then Scene of the Crime will actually be usable, because it doesn't require it to tap to draw the card, the same way as other clues work. Even if I've used it for mana that turn, if I can generate a bunch of colorless mana, I can sacrifice it to draw a card. Ugin's Labyrinth, if I can get one of the incredibly high casting cost spells in my deck underneath this, I can use it to ramp into Sami faster, and then later on I can grab that card back when it will be castable for, like, no mana. And 2 more fetch lands. Okay, so that's Sami. That is Sami's entire deck. And we're going to start playing Sami against whatever Arena's Matchmaker thinks we should be playing against with this pile. Grab a sip of water. Let's see what we're playing against. Well, we have 1 ramping artifact in hand, so that is okay, but not great. Oh, it's that one. Okay. Alright, so we will go get... Oops. We'll go get Elegant Parlor. We'll keep a land on top. I will keep a ramping artifact on top also. Obviously, I would rather have a land, but if we get to go 2-drop into an artifact mana source... Or, I'm sorry... land number 2 into an artifact mana source. I'll run out the Mind Stone first, because I'd rather that get killed if they have artifact destruction here. Then, on 3, we can cast Introduction to Prophecy, and go look for a land. Or we can just find it naturally. So, in that case, we'll play the Inspiring Vantage. Cast the Arcane Signet. And I think pass turn with the idea that we will flash out Liberator. Alright, so we take a damage. Yeah, I'm gonna flash out the Liberator and block the 1/3 here just to save a point of damage. Alright, that is not another land, but it... So we can't cast Sami now. I did not tap my Mind Stone there. Also, kind of forgot that I have Flash on my things. I did not need to cast it there at all. I could have waited to see if they did anything cool. Hey, that's just Elspeth. I do not care. In fact, that taps them out, so we might just win next turn. You gonna kill my creature? Yep, that's fine. let's do that real quick, just to be on the safe side. Okay, so make sure it's using this for mana now. Cast the captain. Play command tower. So we can do this for x equals 1. We can then cast Gandalf. Cast our Memorial Vault. And cast this. We'll put the Iron Crag on the bottom, but I would love to draw the other one, thank you. Cast our Golden Egg. Draw 2 cards. Alright, Sammy's currently at 7, so we can kick this. And hey, we just got a whole bunch of tapped artifacts that we don't need for anything else. So let's go ahead and sacrifice one of them for 4 cards, since they copy the mana cost also. Hey, there's an extra land in my hand. Let's go ahead and discard that land and draw a card. Hey, we drew another land. Let's discard that land and draw a card. We'll hold on to the Mox Opal, see if we draw any of the things that would be relevant first. That make us wish we had Mox Opal. Did we actually fizzle? Well, we seem to have actually fizzled, so that's a bit disappointing. I can't play a land because I already played one this turn. So we will run out the Mox. Yep, somehow we managed to draw a whole lot of land in a row. Alright, well, that was neat. Elspeth is -3 to kill a thing? Sure. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but I do get to block right now. Okay, we might actually lose this game. No, that was not the correct one, opponent. I will take action. We'll throw Sami over there. Because I made 10 trillion mana. Okay, they actually did have a way to kill that thing. Okay, so we do actually lose. Because we managed to draw nothing but lands off of a lot of our artifacts there. Which is the only way Sami ever loses, which is why Harnfell is so potent. If that had been Harnfell instead of the Memorial Vault, I don't think we lose there. So, off to a great start. That is the first game I have lost with Sami since the new matchmaking started. So, of course it is. Literally the first game I have lost. Everybody else has died to Sami, and it wasn't even close. So... it's 7 or more, right? So, that doesn't help. I'm going first. This is not good, but... we do get to, in theory, flash in Gilded Lotus the turn before we untap into Sami. Oh, they have burgeoning. It's adorable. Yep. That's an Ulamog. Alright, resolve theirs first. They get to play a land. Yep. Prevail away. Yeah, I would like to put Ulamog underneath that. And then we can flash in Liberator. Hello, little Chocobo. How are you? Oh, wow. I got so distracted. I literally got distracted by the Chocobo. I'm like, ah, that's a cute little Chocobo. And I did not play Liberator. Good job, me. I'm doing great today. What? Chocobos are cute. Don't blame me for getting distracted by one. They're the most adorable. You may... yeah, I don't super care about raids. Alright, so take my 3. Flash in, Liberator. Okay, I literally cannot sacrifice an enchantment, so you got it. You got it. You got it. Blah. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be 5. Alright. Pass the turn back. Yeah, do not care about rampant growth. There are, in fact, a lot of things I've been playing against lately where it's like, yeah, I don't care. That's terrifying if we don't win. Fortunately, this turn it's kind of wasted, unless she randomly gains haste. I forget if, what's its name is on Arena, but I'm pretty sure the red one is, Concordant Crossroads. Alright, so... cast this. Yeah, might as well cast it, see what we hit. Ah, that's neat. So at least I won't die next turn. Oh yeah, I'll just take the 6 here. Sack whatever you want. Yeah, I'll keep Liberator, it's fine. Go to my turn. Hey Gandalf, how's it going? So... 1, 2, 3... hang on. So... cast Sami. Why did it leave me with a colorless? What are you doing, Arena? Why did you do that? You jerk. Alright, I'm casting Gandalf now, and I'm mad. Yeah, I'll just play out the One Ring because I can draw my card now. Why did you leave me with a colorless mana there? I guess that doesn't super matter, and I can't die this turn. Alright, what's Sami at? 6? Let's deal him 3 damage in the interest of getting this done a bit faster. Why did it leave me with a colorless mana there? Alright, so they play their commander and play their land from the graveyard. I can't take damage this turn, so none of this super matters. Actually, I suppose I should have exiled their land in response. Just on principle. Yep, I can't take damage this turn. Alright, go to my turn. Go to 9. Alright, so 11, so it's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can cast Ulamog if I want to. Suppose I should do that before I randomly die. We will exile the land this time. And we'll exile the braids for good measure. I should draw a card first. Do we hit? Alright, that's probably good enough. Tap this for red. Cast you. Cast you. Cast Limbo Spread. Get this pain train rolling. 2, 3, 4. I already have Gandalf. I don't think I need Norn also. Do a lightning bolt. And a command tower. Okay, perfect. Actually perfect. Alright, play my land. Yeah, let's just cast Ulamog. Kill Tifa. Oh, creature, right. Not colorless. We'll bolt the bird. Why not? And then... Ellie Liberator back to block. We'll deal them 4 damage. I don't know why I attack with Gandalf. They're just going to block there because they're not blocking Sami. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. We're all fine here. How are you doing? On the bright side, Sami's deck is dumb enough. That I don't even necessarily need to play properly. So, last turn, I could have sacked this to draw a card. Alright, so we want to let that resolve. So, before they can play a land, we want to activate this, pay the 1, and exile their graveyard. This is what I was talking about with Sami, like, with the triggers on the stack, they cannot actually do the thing they would otherwise be able to do. Okay. So they get some mana, they get an Elf or Elemental. Ooh, they hit Ancient Green Warden. Extra glad that they're not going to get to play any of those lands now. Oh, it's a Scrapwork Mutt. Yeah, let's flash that in. Oh wait, I think we do still want to be full control just to be on the safe side. Alright, resolve that. Discard this. Oh hey, it's an artifact. Let's let the Scrapwork resolve first. Oh right, I have to discard a card to draw a card. I think I do still discard this, see if we can chain a cantripping artifact. Yeah. Instead, take my 2 damage. Two, 3, 4. Draw 1. Draw 2. And we bricked. Alright. So, we're at 5. If they can deal the extra 3 points of damage after killing Liberator, we will lose again. But... Or if they can just dome me for 5. They are red. They do have 2 extra mana floating. Entirely possible. There's no land in their graveyard, so that doesn't do anything yet. And they brick there. Alright. We can take full control off now. Okay. Played poorly, still won. So yeah, that's been more what Sami has been for me lately. I just keep playing against decks that don't really seem to stand much of a chance against Sami once they're doing their thing. I have Skyclave Relic. Like, any ramping artifact is usually good enough when I have the mana to cast it. Technically, I should not have waited to crack my fetch land, because I know what land I'm getting, and if they actually have Stifle here, I'm going to be very upset, but... You know I want to keep him, and it's probably a bad idea too, but I'm gonna keep him. Because I love Ugin. Ugin's so cool. Look how cool he is. He's a dragon. A spirit dragon. Like a dragon, but a ghost. Plus he got that deep rumbly voice going on. Do I cast Liberator first? I don't think so. I think we just cast our Skyclave Relic. I do need a land next turn, but I can... oh, they're gonna bounce it? Sure. It's fine. Let me hit a land anyway. Alright, so replay that. Or play that to replay this. To cast this. Alright, so we're up to 2 artifacts now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I need a land or a cheap artifact before I cast Sami next turn. Do you like to play your commander opponent? Or an artifact land. Artifact land would be the best. I mean, that is in fact what I asked for. Oh wait, no, it's not. It's a 1-drop. I'm like, and now I'll be able to copy one of these. Like, no, it's still a 3-drop. Just because you're copying a 2-drop, bad Saber. Bad. Does it lose abilities? What is the... No, it's just a 1/1? Everything still works? That did nothing? Awesome. So yeah, now we get to win. Yeah, let's use this. No, and no. I already played my land, thank you. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Yeah, we just cast Ugin. So much better. Exile that first.
I am the master of this world.
Alright, Ugin's gonna draw me a card.
I will put an end to this.
Oh, hey, 9-mana Emrakul.
Is vital to success.
Let's cast that. Cast this. Trigger Ugin. Oh, that's a colorless thing, right? I can't even get rid of that. Deal you a point of damage.
Mine is the power.
Deal you 2 more damage with Sami. And we're just going to hold on to Liberator here. And Sculpting Steel to back up Liberator in case they, you know, do anything. Right, the roll is colorless, so I can't actually exile it with Ugin. But that's okay. Power and toughness are not what I care about with Sami. So we're at 3, 4, 5. Okay. I was gonna say we're gonna let that. We have to let that resolve. With mana value 3 or greater, so they can kill Sami, but we get to respawn by flashing in Liberator and killing Elspeth. So we're still like miles ahead that game, just because we're not gonna combo kill them. Also, Ugin can just add the 3 colorless to recast Sami. So yeah, deck's great, magic's great. Moving on. But you see what I'm talking about, right? Like, most of our opponents have not been particularly threatening with what they're doing. Like, on the one hand, it sounds kind of mean, and it is kind of mean, because they are probably newer players, people that don't play Brawl or Commander as much, or just have, like, some fun idea they wanted to try. I think we're going to mulligan this despite the cantripping artifacts. I think we can do better. There's Burgi, so we'll keep this. But a lot of their decks don't seem to be particularly well poised to do anything about Sami. Like what Sami is trying to do. And considering one of the very few things you need to be able to do in order to stop Sami is kill Sami, like, just killing them actually takes away a lot of my power. The fact that Sami has sat on the battlefield against multiple opponents for more than a turn cycle, or not been killed in response, is actually genuinely surprising. Yeah, we're just gonna run out our lands. I'm in no real rush here. I'm going to need to draw some more lands and or ramping artifacts soon. Yeah, I'll probably kill that just to keep them off of stuff. Like, seriously, what has this opponent done so far? They played a 1-mana 1/1 into a 2-mana 2/1, and none of that is even close to vaguely a problem. So... like, normally when I've been playing Sami, I'd be playing against things that are just absurd, and Sami is barely able to scramble to get wins sometimes, but now it's just like, all of the opponent's decks feel kind of underwhelming. Yeah, I kept this on the back of Harnfell, but... we do need to actually get to Harnfell mana first. I'm going to need an untapped land soon. Or we're going to lose anyway. Like, the opponent doesn't have to be doing much if I'm doing nothing. There we go. Parlor. Leave a land on top. Unfortunately, Sami is still only for 2, so I'm going to need to get Mystic Forge online at some point in time. We're going to make 2 more elves. Alright, gain 2 life. Alright, that is the first actual threatening card they have played against me this entire time, I feel like. Alright, I'm just casting Harnfell. If they don't kill me this turn, I am pretty sure I get to win, so... or destroy Harnfell, which is a lot more likely in their black-green deck. Alright, that is neat. And they do have the potential to cast an elf for 3 off the top of their deck, so... So am I dead? Can they kill me by untapping... what's her name? Do they need to tap all of the elves to do it? Tap 10 untapped elves. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9... They don't even have 10 elves. This isn't even an elf. It's an insect. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Oh, right. I actually needed that land. Let's cast Sami. Cast Mystic Forge. Cast this 0-drop artifact off the top. Then this one. Then this one. Draw that card. Get it. Excuse me, get it out of my way. Oh, cool. So, yeah, they can't actually kill Sami here. If whatever's giving them priority... Ooh, excuse me. isn't a way to kill Sami, they are definitely going to lose here now. I really want to get Norn down, but I haven't been able to find an artifact mana source. I guess the first thing to do is copy Elsewhere Flask then. That one. So just draw another card. Ah, there we go. That'll do. So for 3, draw another card. Yeah, if they're sandbagging a way to kill Sami, they needed to do it like a hot minute ago. Okay. Cast that now. Cast this. It's 4 life, which doesn't matter because the Endstone will reset me anyway. Ah, there's Ugin. That'll do. I would like to cast Ugin. I would like to start by exiling that one.
Knowledge. I grant you a boon. Our goals align, so you have my aid.
Let's get rid of that one now.
Preparation yields success.
Yeah. Cast this one. Go ahead and exile that.
One step in the stratagem.
Draw 2. Cast this. Trigger. Exile the Death Toucher. Yeah.
Heed my counsel.
Yeah, again, the interface starts getting a little janky once you get to this point, but also most opponents lose the will to live when they see what's happening to them. So. Alright. Let's keep going. See if we can find an opponent that actually has a deck where it's not just, oh, I bricked on a land, like I hit like 2 or 3 lands in a row off my card draw spells, and or I could not find one somehow and just died. Yeah, this is only 2 lands. And I kind of want to save those for later. I would much rather have a ramping artifact. Okay, this is more land. No colorless source to cast this thing yet, but... I think we can put that on the bottom for right this second. Alright, now we're going to play Scene of the Crime, so that way I can cast this on 3. We'll play Inspiring Vantage next turn, since that's the last turn it comes into play untapped. What is our opponent playing anyway? I didn't even notice. Oh, this one. Well, that's a neat card. Let's see. Let's play this first. Let's make a dude, deal damage, draw a card, see what we hit. Oh right, I could cast one of these, but I think we just keep the mana for right now. Oh hey, there's their commander. That's neat. Hey cat. I take 3 damage. Have in fact got me. Alright, so... Let's cast Sami. Ah, neat. I want to cast this first because it would let me play the End Stone. Oh, I could have used the Mana Dork, that's true. I do, in fact, do that. So yeah, let's get the End Stone online. That'll make winning a lot faster. Alright, now cast this. Trigger, trigger. I would like to draw 2 cards. Thank you for asking. Oh, hey, Ugin. How's it going? You want to come down real quick? See, I feel like we're playing a completely different game. When this is what my opponent has done by turn 4, and this is what I have done on turn 5. Now, maybe their turn 5 also would have popped off really hard, but it doesn't feel like it would have. So yeah, I think Sami breaks the matchmaking algorithm, because so many of their cards would not be considered good. Sami is a sum-of-their-parts commander, where when you put it all together, it's, you know, one of those well-oiled machines that basically just wins the game if the opponent doesn't interact with Sami specifically, and sometimes even with them interacting with Sami. So, alright, 2 mana. This opponent just didn't want any of that, or their opening hand was garbage and they didn't even feel like mulliganing. One or the other. Am I not the only one who has figured this out? Have they played against Sami today? On, like, more than one occasion, they're just like, no, not this guy again, no. I'm out. Alright, we are coming up on the hour mark. Ooh, I do have a Yigra deck. Well, I built a Yigra deck for Commander. I did build a bad Yigra deck for Brawl for the holiday event, just to get the thing done. Is this good enough? It has Harnfell and 4 mana. I'm going to keep it, but it is not the best. I'm sorry, I'm phlegmy and dying again. I wish I were not. We can bin that. We want our ramping artifacts now and lands first. No. I'm sorry, I thought you were a view bot, but you're close enough. You're one of those add me on Discord, which is basically the same thing. You're not a peoples. So. Yeah, let's draw our card here. I need to get artifacts into play anyway, and I need to find lands and or ramping artifacts. So that way we can get Sami online sooner. Alright, this deck might actually be a thing. I am going to draw a card, though. Like I said, I need to find stuff. Yeah, let's play the artifact land first. Dealing damage to myself with them dealing damage to me is going to become a thing pretty soon, so... But this is one of the rare instances where the Eye of Vecna is actually good for the card draw aspect, because I'm not doing anything else. Yeah, I'm rapidly running out of time, so... 4, 5, 6, 7, 8... Yeah, I can afford to draw, like, one more card here, I feel like. And then we're gonna run into an issue. Alright. So play that out. Let's play the 1-drop. Or draw another card. 1, 2, 3, 4... I have to live like 2 turns. Alright, fine. Either way, it's my 3rd artifact. Or I could just absorb 4 points of damage. I think I just soak 4 points of damage here. Alright, well, not much else to do. We cast Harnfell. We hope we don't die. They only need 3 more points of damage, though, so it's really easy for me to die next turn. Oh, or they could putrefy. Well, putrefying Harnfell is not the worst. Putrefying Sami instead would have actually been the worst, so the opponent killing Harnfell there, while that is terrible for me, does not actually straight up lose me the game the way killing Sami would next turn, so. But we're kind of at the point where if they kill Sami now, we just lose anyway, so. Here we go. Yeah, if they kill Sami, we just lose. Yep. Actually, we don't just lose, but we basically just lost. Like, I can block Ginger here, technically, and live, and go to 1. So, they need a food or something first. Or to kill the 3-3. Yeah, that doesn't matter to me at all. Alright. I am at 1, and I'm a mana short of recasting my commander, so. I'm at 2, and I'm a mana short of recasting my commander, and that does not do it. Okay, I got it. Finally, an opponent that had multiple removal spells. It's getting super hot back here. So I'm sorry if the fan gets picked up by the speaker, but I would like to not die. That's okay with everybody else. I already managed to not cough to death. Ooh, an actual Quintori. Are we starting to move up? Have they decided that I've won too much and I need to play against real decks? Finally? Because I have played against a few Quinn decks before, and they do get really good after a couple of turns, so we'll have to see. This has my Mox and my Mystic Forge, but it's only got 2 lands. I do get to fetch my Parlor, though, and we did draw a land. Okay, so things are looking up. Artifact land would be super helpful here. No, I need lands first. And we have an overabundance of hand-tripping artifacts. Alright, they played a ramp card. We did find an artifact land, though, so let's get that down. Because now, next turn, I could cast, like, Supply Pack and then play my Mox and it would make mana.
Do you know anything about the Coin Empire? What kind of mystery are you?
I do appreciate Quinn's voice. I was so sad when Quinn did not have a voice in the original release for his other card. Like, I don't know why they didn't have a voice for him, but it made me sad. So, Quinn actually having a voice makes me so happy. Brownie, hello, welcome to the channel. How are you doing today? Alright, so they have Antiquities on the loose, which seems really good with their commander. Ah, they actually have Artifact Destruction, and this is not one of the indestructible lands. Alright, I'm gonna give it to them because that's gonna set me back way too much. Very rare that I run into that, even in, like, when I was actually running into, like, major decks, like, something like Brotherhood's End, did not run into very often. I would run into a lot of targeted artifact destruction and wind up losing an artifact land or a mana rock to it. Sometimes repeatable, you know, like a comes into play effect where they were going to re-trigger it multiple times or something. Like, I do run into those, but it's been a while since I got hit by Brotherhood's End. Alright, maybe I didn't break the Matchmaker. Maybe it's just finally figured out that my deck is dumb and I need to play against better players. It took a while, though. I'm like 15 or 20 games in before we started running into stuff like that. We'll have to see. Alright, well, let's, as always, go get our Elegant Parlor. Get our tap land. Fix the draws. Yeah, I do need land. Okay, that's fine. Hello, opponent. How are you? Neat. If the game goes long enough for Ghost Vacuum to matter, since I don't need my graveyard for anything, then good for them. Alright, so... yeah, let's just get the Plains and Arcane Signet while they're tapped out. Hold up Path for their commander. What does she even do? Create a 1/1 jellyfish, creature with flying. Yep. Yeah, it doesn't seem worth ramping them. They can make extra jellyfish by bouncing their commander eventually. Yep, land's gone. Gone forever. Alright, I am gonna need something, though, besides one singular cantripping artifact. Sami's good, but they have a... they have a floor, and we're basically on it right now. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, let's see if they have a counterspell. Alright, no counter. They have a bounce. Sami going back to the hand. To the top of the deck. I promise you, I was not going to do anything to harm your little guy there. Yeah, let's draw another card first, see what we hit. I guess I don't need this, so we can discard it. There we go, that's better. Yeah, no, go ahead. Exile my Lantern. You're doing all the graveyard exiling. I don't need to be able to exile graveyards right now. Okay. Yeah, I think I just pass for a turn. Let them untap. That does stop me from winning next turn. Most likely. Most likely. It's not guaranteed it'll stop me, but it does slow me down a bit. Alright. You should tap out for your commander. Okay, that I'm going to actually have to kill. I assume they're targeting Sami here. Yep. Alright, it has Ward 1. I'd like my commander to have game text, please and thank you. You may have a land instead. Then you can exile my Path to Exile. The irony will be palpable. Ah, right, left the battlefield without dying. I accept. May have 2 damage on me. Alright, let's cash this one out. Go ahead. Sami is at 5, so if I lose this one, it goes to 4. Yeah. Let's just find some stuff. That was none of the stuff I needed, and I am very disappointed. Alright. Let's kill that then. Land out of my deck. And I suppose we're copying this one now. Some super matter. Alright, please kill my 2-1. Okay, fine. Prevent damage instead. I mean, that would be awkward if I needed my mana to cast spells, I guess. Alright, well, we seem to have bricked. Alright, so it is still an artifact, so that's good. You got it. Please kill my 2-1. Please? Alright, well, my opponent refuses to kill my 2-1. They have figured out I would really like to draw a card here. That's not a land. This is the least Sami win I'm going to have had in a long time. Oh, and now Sami's offline for a little while. Hi, Thassa. How's it going? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to hardcast. Ulamog. Next turn. Am I exiling Thassa at that point? Tap another target creature. Not likely, but... definitely could happen. I'm probably just exiling the enchantment off of Sami then. Oh no, wait, this is Nulamog. I don't have to choose. I was gonna say, if you attack me, I'm just gonna block with the creatures I want in my graveyard anyway. Okay. Fine. Then exile it? Okay. Got it. Do it. Do the thing. Yeah, that's true. That's always been a thing that they could have done. Yeah, blink her, get another jellyfish. So my turn. Play my land. Cast the Ceaseless Hunger. Kill that. Kill that. Okay, you got it. Anyway, Sami's back online. So here they come. How many cards are left in your deck? 80? That's neat. I sure hope I draw, like, another good card now. Where's Ulamog? Or, not Ulamog, Dragon. Ugin. Other you. Alright, Fossils of God again. Ocean to blue achieved. Which is more about stopping Sami from being able to attack than anything else. Yep, blink their commander again. Okay, there's a way to make colored mana, again, in case my other things weren't good enough. 12, draw another card. 11. Yeah. Mirix doesn't actually do anything, so we're just going to hold on to it in case I find Harnfell. Yep, you got it. Lumog's tapped. Like, my opponent's deck is doing all of the things they want to do, and I am barely concerned I'm going to lose this game. Like, I am losing, don't get me wrong, but, you know. I mean, that just resets all my stuff. Did I die this turn? Yeah, I did. I went to -1. Okay. I was like, that just resets all my stuff. Did I actually die? Because if I didn't die, I think I win. Like, that was a terrible draw, and it was still almost good enough. Okay. We're back in the opponent's decks aren't particularly strong. Alright, Tezzeret is kind of a ramping artifact with this hand. Alright, that helps. That's that, draw a card. Oh, hey, Ugin, how's it going? I needed you last game, where were you? Dead. Waiting for Sarkhan to come revive you. No, that's fair. I will decline, because we're just gonna cast Tezzeret. Down take Tezzeret.
Inferior in every possible way. Even
Get my
these
Mox.
strange metals answer to me.
Play my Mox. Take Tezzeret. Actually, I should have waited on the Mox. I'm not using the mana this turn. Oh, they got a little dinosaur. I will continue to decline, because I'm good. 1, 2, 3, 4... So 5, get Tezzeret up 1.
I am in charge here.
Cast this one. Tezzeret triggers.
All too
So now I get to downtick Tezzeret again. Go get the Interlacer. Play the Interlacer.
This technology
And
is
then
advanced.
wait, because now we have Norn also. Alright. So if they like tap out here, we get to cast Sami and then things get completely out of hand. Oh, they got a free 2/2. Yeah.
My ascension continues elsewhere.
Alright, so play this. Summon Sami. Alright, so we play Guidelight Matrix, draw a card. That gets Ugin down to 0. Cast Ugin. Exile your commander.
Knowledge is a virtue.
Alright.
My
Let's
time
add the
has
3
reached.
colorless.
Balance your hand. Energy
Cast her.
for your end.
Cast this. Exile that one now.
One step in the
Draw 2
strategy.
cards, double charge the interlacer. Oh, cool. Yeah. Get rid of that one now.
Heed my counsel.
Opponent, you didn't even see Harnfell yet. You're conceding way too early. Just because I have an overwhelming board position already, and there's nothing you can do about it, doesn't mean you have to concede when I'm winning. I did have somebody make me play it out earlier today, and I almost timed out getting all of the triggers onto the stack to finally kill them, because all of the damage-dealing ones were super deep in the deck. And it was getting to the point where I could not find the cards in my hand or on the board to keep using them. Ooh, Sephiroth's usually, like, top tier. I do appreciate playing against Sephiroth decks with my, what's his name? Leovold deck. Because Sephiroth is a targeted effect. So every time they do their thing, I get to draw a card, and it basically turns their game plan into I have a Phyrexian arena that they're in control of when it triggers. And that is as hilarious as it sounds. Like, they can kill me, but it is way more likely that they will die. Now, I did keep this hand, and if I don't draw lands, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. So here's hoping I find some lands. Yeah, let's cast this one first. It is a mana source at least, but land would be preferable. Hi, Vampire Nighthawk. How are you? Ah, perfect. Actually perfect. So play that. That wiggles. Because whenever it intensifies, we need the little wiggle effect. Do that. Wiggles again. Last turn. Sure. Cast Sephiroth. Do I just Swords the Skeleton? Hush you, I'm thinking. Probably. I just kill the skeleton here. They can sack their other things if they want to. I didn't think so. Alright, so name Artificer. Cast Harnfell. Thing intensifies again. And if they tap out this turn, I win. Like 99.9% of the time. It's close to tapping out. They need a 1-mana spell that kills Sami, so like Dismember or something. Okay, I'm down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I did need that land again, though. I keep doing that where I think I have the mana and I don't. I will decline. So let's cast this one first. Draw 2 cards. Alright, draw another card. Then we activate Harnfell, discard the Snarl, see what we hit. Oh, hey Bahamut, how's it going? Let's activate Harnfell again, discard the Mountain. Alright, cast that for free, exile one of the mountains from my graveyard, I don't really care. That intensifies. Cast the Relic. Intensifies again. Cast Bahamut. Kill that. Yay, they get to draw a card. Drain me one. So yeah, I should have killed Sephiroth. Oh, they don't get to draw a card. They only get to do the thing. Okay, so now we Harnfell again. Discard the Mind Stone. Look for more cards to do things with. Oh, there's the Panharmonicon. So let's cast that. Now that draws 2 cards, or 1 extra card. Alright, let's draw 10. Alright, Puka's Eye draws me 2. White. White again. Cast Emrakul. Because why not? Draw 2. Ah, there's Ugin. Cast Ugin. Exile that one.
Power belongs. Mine.
Usually Sephiroth's pretty top tier.
Of eons.
And who knows, maybe their deck was better than that. Maybe they just had a really bad draw. Alright. Well, this has been like an hour and a half of Sami, and I think I've pretty clearly demonstrated that most of the opponents and their decks are not exactly at the top of the commander spectrum for Brawl. So take from that what you will. If you're looking for easy wins from a deck that's not actually running, like, the Mythics and Rares are mostly like the Eldrazi and Ugin and whatnot. The Endstone. There are a few important cards, but for the most part, it's just a whole lot of common artifacts. So if this helps you, let me know. If you think the deck is cool, if you think it's mean that I'm beating up on all of the other players, I just want to get my dailies done in a reasonable amount of time. I am tired of spending like hours trying to plow through other control decks with Leovold, or trying to play like one of my other fun commander decks and just running into the decks that only Leovold would really be, you know, have any chance against. So, also, Wizards is trying to fix their matchmaking system, and I don't think this is an example of fixing the matchmaking system. I think this broke it in a different direction. So, yeah, all of that. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a good rest of your day.